Chapter 1. The Panorama of the Ukraine War on August 17, Two Opposing Fronts. The Ukraine War has lasted for more than 3 years, and every day on the front line is like a calculated, tense chess game, when each city and each settlement can become the center of survival. On August 17, 2025, breaking news from the battlefield shows a very special picture. Kiev launched a strong counterattack in Pokrovsk, while Russia simultaneously advanced on the Seversk front. Two different directions of attack, two different goals, but reflecting the entire strategic struggle, both fierce and rich in symbolism of the war. In fact, the event of August 17 was not a single battle, but the result of a series of events that lasted for many weeks before. Pokrovsk has long been considered a strategic gateway, where whoever controls it can control the logistics line in the Donetsk region. Seversk, although not a large city, is a key checkpoint protecting the Sloviansk-Kramatorsk defense line, the command center of Ukraine in the east. If war is considered a chess game, then August 17 is when both sides simultaneously deployed, one side attacked, the other counterattacked, creating a battle formation exactly like a chessboard with generals, chariots, and artillery rushing into the battlefield. 1.1. Pokrovsk, when Kiev decided to retaliate. Throughout July and early August, Pokrovsk was continuously suppressed by Russian firepower. The images of ruined houses and bombed traffic routes have become all too familiar to the people here. But the Ukrainians have a special spirit. When pushed into a corner, they often bounce back with fierce resistance. And on August 17, Ukrainian forces launched a counterattack that many experts call a surprise slap to the Russian flank. An easy example. Imagine you're playing a game of tug of war. For several minutes, the enemy is pulling you back, the rope is tight in your hands, and you think you are about to lose. But at that moment, you gather all your strength, suddenly pull hard, causing your opponent to stagger, even fall. The counterattack in Pokrovsk on August 17 was similar. According to a report from the Ukrainian General Staff, within 48 hours, Kiev had regained a number of key positions, pushing the Russian army out of the southwestern suburbs of Pokrovsk. In particular, Ukrainian units have made full use of the HIMARS multiple launch rocket system and Caesar self-propelled guns, turning the entire area into a firepan, forcing Russian units to huddle together. It is worth noting that this counterattack is not only military, but also extremely psychological. Pokrovsk was considered Ukraine's weak point, but now their counterattack has sent a message: Kiev has never surrendered. 1.2. Seversk, Russia's cautious but dangerous advance. While Ukraine counterattacked in Pokrovsk, on the other side of the front line, Russia was quietly advancing in Seversk. This is not a massive attack with tanks and artillery like in early 2022, but a nibbling advance, slowly, but surely. If Pokrovsk is like a boxing match with fiery punches, Seversk is like a game of Go, where each Russian chess piece placed is a step to tighten the siege. Russia's goal in Seversk is quite clear. If they capture this area, they will open a corridor to approach Sloviansk and Kramatorsk, two important strongholds of Ukraine that Kiev has always kept as the temporary capital of Donbass. In other words, Seversk is a small brick, but when placed in the right place, it can shake the whole wall. 1.3. Causes of the two-way battle. Many military experts believe that the battle on August 17 was the result of three main factors: prolonged strategic stalemate. After months without a breakthrough, both sides want to prove that they are still capable of creating surprises. Political and diplomatic pressure. Kiev needs to prove to the West that it is still capable of counterattacking in order to maintain its aid. Russia wants to prove to the domestic public that it is still advancing. The attrition nature of modern warfare. Neither side has the strength to strike a decisive blow, so they are forced to divide the fronts, playing point by point. If compared, this is like a football match where neither team is strong enough to score, so they can only share control of each area of the field. Kiev scored a goal in Pokrovsk, then Russia responded with a goal in Seversk. 1.4. The significance of August 17. Although there has been no decisive change, the Battle of August 17 has great significance. Militarily, it shows that both sides still have strong fighting power. Neither side is willing to lose morale. Politically, Kiev sends a message to the West that they deserve continued aid. Russia sends a message to the people that they are not only defending, but also attacking. Psychologically, Ukrainians feel they are not completely outnumbered, while Russians believe their military is still in control. From a historical perspective, August 17 may be remembered as a turning point of the tug-of-war phase, where both sides make trade-offs and assert themselves. Chapter 2, Counterattack in Pokrovsk, the price of decisiveness. If the Donbass battlefield is considered a giant chess game, then Pokrovsk is an important rook. No one wants to lose it, and of course, no side will easily accept the other side's capture. Ukraine understands this, and that is why Kiev chose this place as the point of concentration for a fierce counterattack in mid-August. 1. Why Pokrovsk? Pokrovsk is not simply a city on the map. It is a gateway connecting many strategic routes, an important logistics and military transit point. If Pokrovsk falls, the Ukrainian defense line in the west of Donetsk is at risk of collapsing in a domino effect. On the contrary, if Kiev holds Pokrovsk, they will prevent Russia from advancing any further, at the same time create a springboard for further counterattacks. Pokrovsk can be likened to the only gas station on a long road. Whoever controls it will continue to move forward. Whoever loses it will stand still, even have to turn around. 2. How does Kiev counterattack? According to sources, Ukraine has mobilized elite brigades combining long-range artillery, suicide UAVs, and even mobile air defense systems to protect the sky around Pokrovsk. A Ukrainian soldier once shared, "Pokrovsk is not just a city, it is where we place our hopes of holding the land." The counterattack here is not just about guns and bullets, but also a psychological battle. Kiev wants to show Moscow that they are still capable of attacking, capable of taking back what they have lost. However, fighting is easy, keeping is difficult. After attacking and gaining some positions, Ukrainian forces continuously had to endure fierce fire from the Russian side. The scene is like a person climbing to the top floor of a house, but being stoned by dozens of people from below. 3. The price to pay. Every counterattack has its price. Ukraine has lost a lot of equipment, many soldiers, even some veterans who participated in the Battle of Bakhmut. But they accepted it because Pokrovsk was worth it. On the other hand, this ferocity highlights the perseverance of both sides. Ukraine is willing to sacrifice to keep the land. Russia is willing to wear down to advance every meter. Many experts liken it, if the war in Ukraine is a football match, then Pokrovsk is a nerve-wracking penalty shootout where not only strength but also nerves of steel are needed. 4. International impact. The counterattack in Pokrovsk immediately became the focus of international media. Western countries considered this as proof that Ukraine still had strong defensive capabilities that used that image to call for new aid packages. On the contrary, Moscow declared that all Ukraine's counterattack efforts were just a candle burning out before going out. Public opinion is divided, but it is clear that Pokrovsk has become a war brand. Just mentioning it, everyone imagines a place filled with fire and ferocity. Chapter 3. Seversk, Russia's new springboard, and the global outlook. If Pokrovsk is where Ukraine counterattacks, then Seversk is where Moscow quietly advances. Looking at the map, Seversk is not as flashy as Bakhmut or Mariupol, but it has an important meaning in Russia's overall battle in eastern Ukraine. 1. How is Russia advancing? Unlike the noise in Pokrovsk, the advance in Seversk has the appearance of a slow but steady snake. Russia takes advantage of its artillery, attacks gradually, cuts off supply lines, and erodes Ukraine's defenses day by day. A Ukrainian soldier once joked, "Russia in Seversk is like a neighbor knocking on your door in the middle of the night. They don't come in right away, but knocking gets tiring." 2. The significance of Seversk. If it captures Seversk, Russia will have the advantage of controlling the entire Lyman region and creating a pincer movement with Slovyansk and Kramatorsk, two important cities that Ukraine has always kept as the temporary capital of Donbass. In other words, Seversk is a small brick, but when placed in the right place, it can shake the whole wall. 3. Comparing Pokrovsk and Seversk.